Let me know if you guys can hear me, please. Good. You're not going to hear anything until somebody requests up, so. Terrence, you saved the space.
Yeah, I got to get to work fast, so but for a couple minutes, I'll just fill in the space until people come up.
You running late?
No, nah, I just got to get to work fast, and I was just gonna listen, but yeah.
Well,
So
Jerry's my customer for years
I know
now.
for years. That's right. And Salvitro, you know, but
Which entitles you to shit.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if yesterday was just a continuation of the conversation we were having about the Cam Ward trade. Obviously it's a dead period for another week or so. And 7-1. So the higher up the pick is, the more draft capital, the more points. But I'm just saying that again. There's two ways to do it. Uh, I don't know if I don't think this. I think it's too rich for somebody like Cam Ward. But maybe somebody like Dom would disagree. But like in terms of his talent. But to me, my plan was to go into to do it next year. And again, if we finish 8 and 9, and people will be like, hey, look, he's Aaron Glenn's getting the system in place. Moogie's made some good draft picks, some free agent signings that were helpful. And then I guess everybody thinks like Justin Fields might be coming here, and he played okay. Like either he plays okay or we need a quarterback again. Like it's not going to be in between. But if we finish in the middle of the pack, and this upcoming draft, in order to move up, you're going to need that much capital to move up. And that's why I've been saying, and I mean, other members of the 3-4 are saying that, if somebody is discontented with their plight in this franchise, or they don't fit the new system, or Aaron Glenn's gonna hold people accountable and they were never held accountable for 3 or 4 years before, and they don't like it and they want out. This could also, again, you're gonna probably need some draft capital to move up next year, and this is the price that you have to pay. It's either that or the team sucks so bad that they automatically get a top 5 pick by basically being like the 3-4 win team that everybody left, that we mock about, that are mocked about with the logo. But those are
Yeah.
just my thoughts. Doesn't stop us from going and getting players right now, because and it doesn't stop us
Yeah.
being happy in October if they win games,
Well,
because
right. Terrence, let me just comment real quick on that. Listen, I put out a post the other day, like about in upwards of 90 million. I mean, it may not be 90, it's going to be close, I think, but that doesn't mean I want to get, I know the free agency class stinks, but you still got to sign. We have 7 draft picks. You got to sign guys. Now, granted, I think what was it, the Gase year or whoever, when they got who was that linebacker from Detroit that stunk? What was his name?
Jaron Young or something like that, or some Jared. Yeah,
Jared Davis.
yeah,
Yeah, like they're gonna probably sign guys that aren't, you know, maybe low impact, maybe hopefully high reward. But that doesn't mean to go out and spend money sloppy. But it's good to
yeah.
know that because
Agreed.
we all thought, oh, the Jets are gonna have no money. You know, they have money now, which is Douglas. As bad as he was, it's not as bad as like the Saints are still over the cap even with the $25 million, which is
Good morning,
crazy.
Petey.
Good morning.
Our friend from Ohio State did like Joe Douglas. I didn't change my mind on that one.
Oh, you?
Yeah. Good morning,
Yeah.
Terrence. Good win by
Hi,
the
Buck.
Knicks.
Sorry, Buck. I muted when you talked, so I couldn't find the unmute button. Sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, the Knicks game was good defense by Bridges.
I mean, we're pretty lucky because with no Mitch, no OG, and no Josh Hart, our entire defense was out. So,
Well,
Hey,
yeah,
can
but
I
there's
just say?
good.
No, I'll just say I had a 3-game parlay. I took I took the Celtics given the points. I took the Bulls getting the points, and I took Cleveland given 13. I almost hit it. Cleveland beat the Nets by 13, so I still won, but they didn't give me the full amount because they pushed.
No,
okay.
there was no
You
hook
know what
involved.
name? I want Fields here, but you know what name doesn't get talked about enough is Winston.
I've seen Winston's name though. Buckeye,
I
you know
mean,
what intrigues me though? With Fields with Brees Hall, like that RPO.
of course.
Like that intrigues me because
Look,
teams can win. Like, I mean, teams do that, and the Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying Fields is Jalen Hurts, but
I know
yeah,
you've said if this team wins 3-4 games, people are going to start doing the I'm out on Glenn thing. This is just my opinion. I think what this organization rarely does, if close to never, they never show you a direction, right? So like the fans are screaming mad because we did a all in, go for it, chips in the middle of the table, and it was a disaster, and we're picking like in the top whatever 7 again, which has been a consistent behavior of like we're going for it, but we're really not going to deliver. That's the aggravating thing, and it directly doesn't give you any hope for the next year because then it's like, well, let's try again. So you can't run that playbook again of let's try again of like retool. I just can't see this as a retool. It doesn't have to be selling every piece, but until this team definitively and people can rattle off leaders and a culture and a direction and what we do and like what you're getting when you face the Lions. You know what type of game you're going to play. At one point, I guess Salah built a defense. You knew you were going to be in a defensive battle, but you also knew if you scored 13 points, or a touchdown in the first quarter, there was a good chance you're going to beat the Jets, which is not football. You need to build a direction, man. You need to build a direction. I think that, to me, gives Aaron Glenn much more room and leniency. Not that matters because he's got his contract regardless of what the fans say. But I think if they came in there directionally and you either set the expectations super low, where no one's sitting there being like, oh man, he only won 3 games, 4 games. You could tell by the moves and chess piece moves what they're doing. But if they start bringing in Kirk Cousins and doing veteran moves and signing veterans, yeah, you're going to start to elevate the expectations of, if you're picking top 5, it's the same old Jets. That's all I'm saying. With Justin Fields, you're at least going to see a brand of football we haven't watched. It's still probably it's going to manifest into losing. Like, Justin Fields not going to win 10 games, but it's going to be, I think, a more fun brand of football, an offensive playbook that actually is more NFL style right now. Or you just get a gunslinger like Winston that's going to probably serve you up 3 touchdowns and 3 picks a game, and it's going to be a fun loss. But I don't know.
Kind of
I
like
just,
Josh McCown losses.
exactly. I just want to see a direction, man. I want to see, like, you even saw the turnaround with your Rangers a few years ago when they sold off the pieces. Like, you knew what their plan was. When's the last time the Jets showed you what their plan? Well, they did show you what their plan was. They showed you that they were trying to win a Super Bowl the last 2 years, and they failed, bro. They failed like crazy. That's why I think the whole like rebuild is in, because everyone's sick of the fucking misleading "we suck."
Yeah, understood. Tyreek, you came up. Good morning, man. How you been? I don't know if you could talk.
What?
What's up?
What's good, Peter? You good?
Yes.
Been a minute.
Yes. How you doing?
Shit, man. Just came to check in, see what the temperature was like in the fan base.
Yeah, a lot of people are out on next year, but I'm not. Not now.
What are you thinking?
I mean, I think they can be competitive and win games. Now, that doesn't mean I'm picking them to make the playoffs, but who knows? But that's right now.
Weren't we competitive last year, though?
Yeah,
We
but
absolutely were competitive,
we didn't
bro. How
have
many
we
one-score
didn't have
losses
good
do we have?
coaches. Yes.
I know, but you said competitive. We were competitive this past year, but we're picking.
What's your definition of competitive?
Mine? Or
Just in
Buckeye?
general, just anybody.
Buckeye, you want to answer that?
I would think competitive means like you're in every game till the end almost, right? Like, there were some games like the Niners and a few that we weren't, but being in every game till the end, but we were always on the wrong side of the scoreboard. So, like, to me,
I'd say that was a testament to coaching. Would you not?
Somewhat. I don't. I also feel the roster was not there either, man. I think, look, we all thought having Aaron on game-winning drives we were gonna be on the right side of dubs more than losses, and he was.
But we also didn't foresee 2 phases of the team to regress the way that they did either, though. You know, I would say that like there were 2 phases that we didn't expect to like regress the way that they did. That like more so with the defense and the special teams. If I feel as though like if you would have plugged that Aaron Rodgers into the year prior, we would have been a double-digit win team. Considering what the performance was like from the defense and from the special teams like that year. But this year, I understand. But this year, I feel like was really like a testament to coaching and kind of getting caught up into pandering to Aaron Rodgers.
I think that first year, the issue though was the O-line was epically bad, and he was going to sit there like he doesn't have the toolbox to deal with like no time. So he stood in that pocket, and even the play he got hurt on, they gave him some time in there, and he got hurt because he just, I don't know, he held that ball. And I'm not saying like it was a freak play, like to get hurt, but I don't know, man. I want to watch football where it's 4th and 1 that we could go for something and we have a quarterback that can run 2 yards, man. I want to know a quarterback can run 2 yards on a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute since we've had that.
Yeah, I understand that. I would say though, like, I mean, if you really look at some of the losses that we had last year, I'm not saying here making no excuses at all. Like, I mean, we lost those fucking games, but it really, like, to me, was undisciplined coaching. There was a lot of mistakes that they made that caused them to either get knocked out of field goal range. You know what I'm saying? And there was a bunch of things going on there that, like, I feel like with a change of staff, if there was another staff in place, would not have happened. That's my opinion. I just feel as though that, like, the staff really, really hurt the team, and that's just, like, kind of been like the theme for the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always been. I feel like the Jets historically have always minimized the output of the talent that they've always had. You know what I mean?
What do you want to see this year? What is the build?
You know what I want? I'm a fan, bro. You know what I want to see? I want to see 17. I want to see as many wins as I want to as possible. You know, I think that, like, you know, if I was going to tell you, like, a real take, like, you know, real ball take, I would say that they're probably teeter-tottering around, like, 8 and 9, probably. Like, it just really depends on who's going to be behind center. I'm all in on Cam Ward, though. I want them to trade up for Cam Ward, but not that projected package that I see floating all around Twitter. But
I think
I'm all in on Cam Ward.
But I think that is it definitely would be a swap and an additional one. How many? It's more than that too. So, like, it's not just going to be a swap in a second. Like, that one won't be. So I get it. I'm not going to bash anyone that wants it or doesn't want. I don't want it. I don't think. But again, I have no idea. But he does everything you've heard about this draft doesn't feel like this is the draft you do this with. And then the problem is, if you give up next year's one, and I think we don't have our third next year, and you give up next year's two, we're not picking till the fourth round next year. And if this doesn't work, and God forbid we're like the first pick in the draft, it's going to be ridiculous. So then all of a sudden Tennessee is going to be looking at, like, the first overall pick from us. Who has, is it the Raiders have our third? The first pick in the third round. It'll be bad, man. First pick in the second round, like, Tennessee would be scooping up insane. They probably have 2 top 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. Cam Ward better be, like, ridiculous.
Yeah. To be honest with you, like, if
That's what my thing.
if you were gonna ask me what I think they do, I think they
Did we lose Tyleek? He went down the listener, I guess.
I heard the noise, but I still see him as speaker.
Maddie, before you ask me, no lid as we speak. Good morning.
Well, I've accepted after 3 or 4 years of talking to you that you're not going to change. It's fine.
Oh, I use it sometimes, but today, nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times in the last couple of weeks.
What? Why do you use it, and why do you don't use it then? It's just a feel thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel you get the full flavor when there's
Yeah.
no lid. You know what I'm saying? It's weird.
I hear you do. Oh, that's interesting. The full flavor without the lid.
Yes.
Wow. Do you
And
go flavored coffees or just
let's
regular?
talk about coffee right now.
Yeah, no, I don't know, Maddie. I hate flavored coffee.
Oh, really?
And I
like
hate iced
hazelnut.
coffee. No offense to anybody who drinks that, but I
Tyleek-
hate iced coffee.
Tyleek's queuing up
Especially-
applause.
I drink
know
iced coffee. I drink iced coffee even when it's 15 degrees out.
Me too.
I like it. Do you think did you guys see Sauce Gardner when he with the Barstool Sports guys?
Where, at the Super Bowl?
No, there's a clip of him, like, hanging out playing golf with the Barstool Sports Frankie, that guy Frankie, you know, the one who used to hold the camera for Portnoy and the pizza reviews?
Not offhand, but
Oh, okay.
what happened though?
No, he was just screwing around with them on the golf course. It was funny, but he was like, they were doing like, I'll DM it to you. Anyways.
Yeah, I wonder if fans are going to be upset that Sauce is golfing.
Pete, yeah, they're always going to be upset. So, Petey, who do you want them to draft at 7?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to the receiver, Graham. Who else?
Who's the receiver?
McMillan, T-Mac, I call him. I can't say his name.
Interesting.
Graham. I like the Georgia linebacker too, Walker.
So that video.
But I don't, bro. What do I know about them? Let's look at the last 4 drafts. Well, Becton, right? Then Zach, AVT. Then who was after Zach and AVT? Oh, Sauce and Garrett. That was good. Then the year after was who?
McDonald.
Yep.
Dude,
no,
this guy Mason Graham gives me Dwayne Robertson vibes.
Ugh. Well, Dwayne Robertson had no cartilage in his knee, if you recall, Matty.
Yeah. Would you be mad if it's Tyler Warren?
A little bit. I mean, I'm not going to be mad, but
because of the position.
Yeah, I just think 7 for a tight end is too high. But I know the NFL is changing.
Yeah, the NFL is a 12 personnel league, and we got 0.
That's true.
I think that's and if Tyler Warren, look, no one knows, but this kid was a beast at Penn State. I think he's one of the best players in the draft. I don't care about the position. I wouldn't do it with obviously a kicker or some of the other shit, but no, tight end to me is not a scary proposition anymore. I value tight end in the league.
Would you think Tyler Warren at 7 would be like kind of like a hindsight pick because of not grabbing Bowers at a high spot, and then you could grab Tyler Warren? I like Tyler Warren.
That was being talked about yesterday.
That guy Tyler Warren is a good player, but he should not be taken with the 7th pick. That guy is not even close to Brock Powers.
Well, I'm saying though, would you think that would be that would be like the take people would say? Because I've seen a lot of people saying that would be a revisionary pick, meaning we didn't take Brock Powers with the 1st round pick. You take the tight end now, but you'll probably start.
It's a different regime, though, too. To be fair,
but can I ask you guys a question?
You'll start to see that though, when you see guys like Brock Powers come in and be so effective, people are gonna start reaching on that position a lot more now. You get what I mean? This is how the trend of
I mean, if Cam,
go ahead.
Sorry, if Cam Ward is not Jaden Daniels, it doesn't mean you don't take Cam Ward. I just feel like we needed a left tackle. It's pretty lucky we picked a left tackle because this year doesn't offer a left tackle. And if the best position of value is a tight end, and the difference between him is let's say, it'd be better if we picked him at 12 versus 7. If the guy's going to play 10 years in the league healthy, I don't care. I really don't care.
Just pick the right guy.
Just pick the right guy.
Well, whoever they draft at 7, in my opinion, has to play right away. Has to. They need impact players.
Well, you pick a tight end, he's going to play right away in this team.
Well, even if they pick the corner, let's just say.
Yeah, but let me ask you something. Are you happy with how Olu Fashanu looked in the second half of the season?
Very.
Yes, I think some of his run blocking, still needs help, but maybe the different coach helps him with that.
And do you think that it might have benefited him to watch a pro, even though he sucked?
Very.
Number 77.
Very.
Right. Yeah. So Petey, I remember you say this a lot though, but why does he have to be like an impact produer day one? Why can't we draft a kid and give the kid a mentor and invest for the future?
That's fair. I'm not saying impact meaning
but who's been drafted in the top 10?
He's got to play. There's plenty, Tyleek.
I'm just saying if he doesn't play immediately day one or make an impact, I'm not going to really care. Okay. I just want the kid to be good for the future.
Well, I wasn't out on McDonald, at first. A lot of fans were. I'm willing to give players time.
But that pick 15 to a top 10 pick is completely different, though.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's a good point. Dom, just jump in, man. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, 2 things. Maddie, I agree with you And I think listen, and I'm going to kind of talk out of both sides of my mouth here because I think the Jets roster as constituted has, enough holes where somebody can come in. Somebody just may come in, depending on what position they prioritize. Somebody may come in and, play a lion's share or a significant amount of snaps and be, quote unquote, impact, whether that's good or bad. So but on the same token, I think we forget it's very, very rare where teams draft guys to play now. Most teams are drafting when they're when they're looking at players, they're seeing what's going to happen 2 years from now, what's going to happen 3 years from now. I think for me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but for me, the better way to look at it is in 2 years. Do I have a starter? Do I have a high level starter? Do I have a rotational piece, so on and so forth?
Yep.
Because we hang on. Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Maddie. But
no,
we talk about we talk about now. The big thing here with the Jets is, and I agree. Like for the first time, we're not playing like ring around the posy with our offense line. We have four starters coming back.
Yeah.
What happens next year? Simpson's not under contract. We don't know. We don't know if they're going to extend AVT. We can think or want all we want. So would it be the worst thing in the world if you spent a third round pick on an interior lineman? He's not going to play this year. But no, that's how you build pipeline. You look at Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. You look at Baltimore, and they will always draft for what's going to happen 2 years from now. You look at Philadelphia; they're always going to draft for what happens 2 years from now. You look at Buffalo, right? They mix very well. They mix both very well. Like I applaud.
Yeah, but my
Buffalo.
argument to that, Dom, my fault, Dom. But like they never pick in the top 10 though. Like you know what I mean? Like the context of those picks are completely different from picking in the top 10.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, but why are they not picking the top 10? Because they're winners, right? have seen or we have thought he's a late first or early second round talent, they're just going to go get their guy. This draft is going to be it's not going to go as stock and as chalky as, as all the mock drafts predict, I think. That's my opinion.
All right. Mark, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, man?
Good morning.
Good morning. How we doing?
Good. Trying to get through the dog days, brother.
Yeah. Well, we're like a handful of days away from the combine, and then
Yep.
like, is it just me, or does the season go around the clock now? It's crazy.
Oh, I love the NFL, man.
Yeah.
I believe from on Monday, it's 2 weeks from Monday, the tampering period begins. So, not that I think the Jets are going to be really active. I don't think the Jets will splurge on day one, but they do got to sign guys. So, I think after the first wave, the Jets will be more active, and then we'll know the cap space, especially with Adams and everything.
Can I ask you guys a real nasty question? Can I do that?
It depends how nasty it is.
It's pretty nasty. So if Sam Darnold, listen, I'm too old to pause, bro. When I double entendre, I mean it. You'll hear it. So, if Sam Darnold weren't formerly the Jets quarterback, do you think we would be clamoring to get him in town as a vet?
I mean, probably, but
right?
I don't think it's going to work here, Mark.
Well, I think it's because the majority, I'm not saying anyone, like if you watch social media, Mark, whenever anybody's going to get cut, how many times you see, oh, the Jets should sign him. He should be a Jet, or that the future Jet, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter who he is, what position, this, that, or the other thing. So to your point, yeah, I think that there would be a fair share of people clamoring to bring him in.
Yeah, outside of being in Jets Commute, I watch social media like next to little as possible, I guess. I just find I try to make opinions based off all the shit I'm reading and what are people saying and the rest of it, and then I try to put an opinion together. But I can't shake the idea that it's clear that Minnesota wants to move on from they drafted their guy last year. I don't know where he is at in his recovery, but they have a vision for that young quarterback. And then you have Sam Darnold, who has, I mean, a really nice season. You know what I mean? And the Jets have a hole, an obvious hole. They've created an obvious hole. I don't want to say they have a hole. They've created an obvious hole at quarterback.
Yeah. So, Mark, you're willing to pay Darnold $30+ million a year? I'm asking you.
Well,
you asked a nasty question, so I'm gonna, because it sounds like you kind of want him back, but then now you're backing off the question.
Well, oh man. Well, look, Pete, when it comes to salary and cap management, like, I'm out of my depth. I'm not the guy to tell you, yeah, pay X dollars for X player. That's just not me. I'm just looking at the play on the field and the fact that Darnold is still young and he has areas. I'm just saying, if he weren't Sam Darnold, if the Jets didn't draft him and kick him out the building, would we be like, you know what? Actually, that's because, look, is Darnold better than Fields?
Yeah. Well,
clearly.
But Mark, I was just going to say, though, what's intriguing to me, I know you're going to go on about this point, and then we'll get to T. And that's Mark. No, that's not like no,
go ahead.
Mark, that RPO with Fields and Breece Hall really intrigues me, man, because that's a new dynamic. And look, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts.
Now you're thinking, Petey.
Well, yeah, good morning, T. Don't blow my eardrums out. Pause.
No, I'm just saying, now you're thinking in the 21st century. Now you're thinking. Now,
Tyleek, that was a good one, right, Tyleek?
Yeah, I've been waiting for y'all to get there. There you go, Petey. There you go.
So Mark, T, good morning. Yes, that intrigues me. And listen, I'm not putting Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts' sentence. It's not even comparable. Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl. But that is intriguing, and I think that will make Breece Hall better, because a lot of fans don't think Breece Hall is as good as, I think Breece Hall's potential still needs to be reached. That's just my opinion. That's why I don't want to get I don't want to get rid of Breece, Mark. But I'm not saying to extend him on a contract, but I would let this year play out and see what he does in Tanner, however you say his name's new offense. Let's see.
If Engström were more a guy that, first of all, if he weren't a first-year offensive coordinator, and if he were a guy that we thought would want to run a more RPO-based offense and tons of play action and boots and like that's what it was going to look like, and like some downfield like that's what more college concepts too. Like that's the kind of offense he was coming in to run. Then I would say Justin Fields would have been like Justin Fields is a much better fit because it's like, all right, we'll get him going on at least this stuff and see if you can develop Justin Fields' ability to read a defense. But he's just coming off a year with Jared Goff as his quarterback. So I think he's got this expectation that his quarterback can read a defense. And that's where I think that if it weren't Engström, I'd feel much more confident about Fields. With Engström, I think Fields is less likely. I know content creators are falling all over themselves with graphics of Justin Fields, jet uniforms, and the rest of it. I don't care about clicks and likes and subscribes. I care about winning football games.
All right,
I just
Mark.
don't think he's
Okay,
it.
so Mark,
for
who are we
us,
going to
for
win?
the Jets.
All right, so Mark, who are we going to win with then, Mark? Come on. Who
Yeah,
are we
well,
going to
that's a
win
good
with?
question.
Good.
Look, look, next year the formula is 3 to 4 wins.
Yeah, but Mark, can I just
That's
stop
not
you
what
there?
the formula
Hang on,
is.
can I ask a question?
Yes, because I was going to get
Sure.
at. Yeah, because I want to
But
get to Mark.
why is the formula 3 or 4 wins? I'm just, and listen, I'm not saying I think this team is going to be, like pushing Buffalo for the title, but we won 7 games with fucking Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle.
Yes, Dom,
So
I agree with that. Can I answer that real quick, Mark, before you?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm not saying this before you go on, because I want to. I want Dom, because we already have fans that are saying Glenn's going to be here for 2 years and then gone. There's multiple fans. I've seen it. Not even on the space, just in general.
Guys,
fans,
we don't have the same defense.
What I say, listen, what I say is not said with green goggles at all, but like, there's got to be context behind it. If it's because we cut Aaron Rodgers, we're now a 3-4 win team. No, I don't know if I get. I'm sorry,
Dom, because the defense isn't nowhere near what it used to be. We're kidding ourselves.
I know. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But again, based on the conversation that we were just having in regards to Fields and quarterbacks, the comment that was made was we're setting ourselves up for a 3 or 4 win season.
Can I provide the context, Dom?
Sure,
I can
Talk to him, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, on your own, Mark. This is your island, not mine.
Mark's taking the 34 and changing the 34 team to 3-4 wins. That's where it's coming from, by the way.
He's getting a board.
But are you basing 3-4 wins
Mark don't want
on,
Justin
like, are you
Fields.
assuming you're going to miss on every pick in the draft? Are you assuming that you're going to do terrible in free agency? Like, is that what you're basing that off of, Mark?
Mark thinks the 6-win Aaron Rodgers in 2 seasons is all of a sudden a winner.
I mean, but you just said, I listened. I usually talk. I heard you out. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page.
Let him talk, T. Let him explain himself.
Yeah, T's not even being disrespectful here.
So
No, for real. I'm like,
him.
so like, are you implying that you don't think your new front office and your new head coach and everything, you don't think they gonna hit on nothing? You don't think they gonna make y'all better? A defensive-minded coach is gonna make y'all better on the defense? You were just assuming y'all gonna be ass?
Well, okay. Let's start with. Well, I'll start with that point first, T, which is the draft. I don't know, and you just heard Dom talk about how this is a weird, like odd, and it's a strange draft class. I don't know if they are. I'm not pinning my hopes on the draft to turn the Jets, their fortunes around. I don't think that's wise to do. Like, who knows? Plus, it's a first-time GM. Let's not forget it's Muji.
Mark,
like he's never done this
before.
you're
answering T's question, Mark, but you're deflecting on what question was asked before that.
I know. I want to get to it. I can only answer one at a time, Pete.
Yeah, I know, Mark, but no, it's not even damn, Mark, because it's you're talking one side where you think, you're out, but you want to be competitive, Mark. I know you want to win, but then there's no confidence to back up your point.
Pete, the
Go ahead.
difference is because I can listen, I'm differentiating between what I want to happen and what I think the Jets are going to do. Those are two very different
How
things.
many
I want
draft
them to
picks y'all
field a
got, Mark?
competitive football team,
Mark, how many
but
draft picks do y'all have this year?
7.
How
7.
many?
We have 8.
How many in the top
Where do
100?
those draft? How many
3.
draft picks do you have between rounds 3 through 7?
What? No, we'll just say the top 100. How many you got in the top 100?
I mean,
No,
there's
I don't
3
know. I don't
questions
want.
at
No, I
once.
don't see.
All right,
Oh,
hold on. I want to isolate here with Mark.
all right.
Mark,
Yes.
and I want to get Dom in here too, because you're avoiding Dom's question. You're not
I wanted
answering
to.
it, Mark. Mark, this is
Oh
I'm
my
not. I'm not.
God. Yeah.
No, Mark, because listen, I'm in here with you a lot, Mark, and I'm sorry, Mark. You're not making sense on this.
All right.
You're not. Come on,
Let
Mark. Mark,
so.
I'm not
Oh
calling you stupid here, but you're like circling around the answer here. Just come out and say it. I don't think you think the Jets are a 3 to 4 win team this year.
no, I think
Mark,
they
you picked
are
them to win 12 games last year.
last year. That's right.
Yeah.
That's totally
So, and
right.
you wanted Rodgers back. So did I. To an extent, I'm
Uh,
not crying about it, but
I
go
saw a
ahead.
road for them. I saw a road for them keeping Rodgers. But I'm behind what the front office decides to do about it. But when I see the moves right now, the starting quarterback week 1 is Tyrod Taylor, and I don't know who's going to actually be there. So I don't know. And to Hector's point, which everybody just skated right past because it's not convenient, he was saying, well, the defense is going to be different. Let me ask you guys a question. With a blitzing defense and a bunch of first-year guys learning a new scheme, how many do you think we're going to see more or less blown assignments from the defense this upcoming year than we did last year?
Can I answer that?
I
No.
Yeah.
feel like Aaron Glenn brings a different
Steve Wilkes is
culture
a
to the
fucking great
defense.
defensive coordinator.
Hold
I
on.
feel I feel like
Let Dom
I feel
answer
like
it,
they're
T.
not gonna
Hold on.
allow that bullshit. I
T,
feel
go
like
ahead.
the old
Dom, go
way
ahead.
of how the Jets.
T, can you hear me, man? Let Dom answer it first. I'm not trying to be rude, and then you go. Please. Go ahead, Dom.
My
That's a delayed mute. I know it's Jets commute, but fucking mute, man. Gosh.
Double mute crazy.
Go ahead,
to
Dom.
what Mark said, I wholeheartedly agree that I mean, you on paper right now, you have to replace 5 starters, let alone depth, and I'm talking just the defensive side of the ball, let alone tons and tons of depth. This was, this is the end result of the former GM kind of, making moves to push his chips in the middle and win now because he thought that the team was ready to do that, and it was a miscalculation. So yes, I agree that the defense is going to be, there's a lot of holes to fill. So there's a lot of unknown for sure. But to Mark's exact question, do you think new scheme, blitz in, there's going to be blown coverages? I'm going to bet on the fact that this coaching staff is going to be better coaches, right? I'm going to bet that this coaching staff are going to be better coaches. Last year was an abomination, and we can say that it's because we fired Sal after week 5. We could say that it's because Jeff Ulbrich, put too much on his plate. But last year was arguably the perfect storm of bad personnel and bad coaching. It was the perfect storm of it. So I don't know if it's going. I don't know if we can. I'm going to bank that at least half of that is better, and that's the coaching aspect of it. I have no idea what they're going to do with personnel. They're not going to fill. I mean, you can look at all the starters that they need, and you're not going to fill that in one draft class. You're not, and you're not going to. You can't expect to find 8 starters with the 8 draft picks that you have. That's just not reality, right? So,
That I agree
Never
with.
know.
1,000%. No.
yeah. So, but to Mark's exact question, to say it's a new scheme and blown coverages, sure, there's going to probably be blown coverages. I mean, that's just reality. But I'm going to bank that our team is much better coached than they were last year.
Same
And
with
I
me.
agree with that.
That I
I
will.
wholeheartedly agree that.
You could go now,
No,
right?
I
And then
was
I
just
know
gonna
there's
say
hands up.
I personally feel like your new coaches, and this is on the outside looking in, I feel like they bring a different culture now. Like I feel like
Correct.
you're the strongest team in New York right now. Well, in New Jersey, excuse me.
That doesn't say much.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Because I don't
What?
consider the Bills a New York team.
Ro-
I don't.
I
Oh
mean,
my God.
but like, I'm not gonna do that, but because I'm not here. I'm being unbiased right now. I'm being an unbiased analyst. So Fuck the basically, Bills. like I was saying, I feel like Wilkes and AG bring a different culture. I feel like they're gonna require more out of guys. They're old school. They're not for the lazy shit. You feel me? They had to earn everything when it was their time. You feel me? Like you can't.
Yep.
You saw Detroit's defense. Detroit's defense used to be lazy as fuck. They weren't lazy with AG. Were they lazy?
Well, you know what what you're saying? I'm actually thinking. I do think Aaron Glenn, because they did hit on a couple of third, fourth, and fifth
That's what I'm
rounders.
trying to say.
Detroit
You
did.
never.
So I do think Glenn's going to develop somebody going forward here. I do. I don't know who it is, but I do think they will develop somebody. That I do.
The
I
operative
feel
word
like
is
this draft
developing that.
class
Oh,
is
good,
kind of
T.
overshadowed. And I take all the people that I know out of it. I know a lot of great players in this draft class that are underrated. And it's just like I feel like if a team has a competent GM and a competent scouting team, competent, like sometimes it's not who's the best on the board, who best fits the team and would make us better. That's sometimes what you got to do.
We're still getting away from the real crux of what brought this conversation up is that why is it the quarterback change, because that's what was intimated, that automatically makes this a 3 to 4 win season.
Yeah, but
Because
that's
again,
not what
my
I said,
counterpoint
Dom.
But Tyrod to get that ball.
no, that is what you said.
No,
You said we're looking down the barrel of a 3 or 4 win season.
I said that, but then you added the quarterback bit. The quarterback bit
Well,
contributes
because
to
we were talking about the quarterbacks.
the
we were
quarterback
talking about
bit.
Justin Fields or whatnot. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We all know the quarterback's the most important player on the field, but the quarterback is only part of what's going on with the Jets. You lose that quarterback, you also lose Devontae Adams. Now Alan Lazard is gone, right? So now you're at Garrett Wilson and a bunch of also rans. That's your skill positions on the outside. The tight end room is, I mean, suspect, I guess. They've got a
There
running
is
back
no tight
room.
end room right now,
There
Mark.
is no
Yeah.
tight end room.
Okay.
You're right. There's no tight end room.
Okay, so now you've got where last year you at least had these guys, they were at least playing and healthy.
And
Your running back
last year
room,
we had all these guys and they were playing and they were healthy and they won 5 games. So let me ask you this: if Aaron Rodgers, take the team exactly as it stands today, but sub in Aaron Rodgers, how many wins are we? What's your prediction? If we have Aaron Rodgers and everything else is exactly the same as we expected, meaning
What,
all
with
the same
this
holes on
roster?
defense, all the same holes on defense, all the same holes in the tight end room, all the same holes at right tackle, all the same holes at wide receiver, but Aaron Rodgers, where are we?
I think there's a road to 8 wins. Because again, you're keeping Devontae Adams, so now you have 2 threats on the outside instead of just Garrett and a bunch of jokers. And then
okay, so let me hang on, hold that thought. Let walk with me here. All right, so if Aaron Rodgers is here, all right, and you think that Devontae Adams stays, okay?
yeah,
So
he'd stay.
now that's what, $50 million combined. So they have, they'll have $40 million. So we're not filling any holes in free agency. That's what it comes down to. We're not filling all these holes in free agency. So Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are not going to give you a safety room. They're not going to give you a tight end room. You better hope that Max Mitchell can come in at right tackle and we don't use a tight end or so on and so forth. So I don't know if those two on the roster are the difference to get us to 8 wins. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I think there's more. I think there's a lot more context that's not, that is not really being addressed.
Dom, I think you're
when you
undervaluing
talk about,
coaching in that analysis, because the coaching, I saw players, good players, who got off to a screaming start in their first year, second year, flounder a lot last year. Excuse me. And I like the coaching staff. I think they are better. I agree with you on that point. So that means if you've got a better coached team with the same talent, see this, I think where we disagree is in our evaluation of the roster. I think that this is a much better. I think it's a good team, with like a lot of talent on the team, just really poorly coached. You think it's not just a poorly coached team, but that the roster is overvalued. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what I'm hearing as I'm hearing you talk.
No. Listen, I think I'll tell you exactly how I feel about the roster. I think that we have some very good foundational pieces, but that's it. I obviously I think Quentin Williams is a phenomenal player. I know, people all of a sudden don't like Q. I think he's great. I think very highly of
Dom, real quick, you would keep Quentin, for the next 2-3 years. Good.
Yeah,
I'm asking you.
I think
I would.
I think, yeah. I'm not looking to. I'm not. Again, if we trade these guys, all we're doing is adding more holes.
Correct. Right? I agree. That's
so,
why I wouldn't
and
trade
I don't know,
Sauce or Quentin right now, or Garrett Wilson. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But you talk about those three. You're now paying Michael Carter, top 3 money at his position at nickel. And you hope that he's coming back from the back injury. And I think if he comes back fully, I think he's also a good foundation piece, right? But there's, that's it. I love Jermaine Johnson. We got to be honest. We have no idea how he's going to play coming off of that Achilles, especially in a position where he needs that explosion off the end. Will McDonald, great. Nice player, good piece. I don't know if he's a foundation piece, but he's a good piece. Tell me what we have on the defensive line outside of that.
Wait a minute.
Right?
So here's where I'm confused, because based on your roster evaluation that you're just giving us, it's a worse team going into the league here, and they're worse at quarterback, and they won 5 games last year. How do they win more than 5 this year?
Wait, I'm not sure I'm understanding
they
what
want
you're
Justin
saying.
I'm
Fields,
listening
Mark.
to your logic.
No.
I'm listening to your logic and your evaluation of the team and the roster and the holes.
Mark, I'm the first one who said I said there's absolutely tons of holes on this team.
Right.
But what I did say is I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers not being here is the difference. That I don't think it's the quarterback position that's going to make us a 3-win team.
Okay, how many games do you have them winning this
sum
year?
of all the parts.
How many games do you think they're going to win?
Mark, I'm not going to make a prediction. I have no idea, because as we stand right now, as it stands here on whatever date this is, the 21st of February, I think they're going to win zero games because they don't have a fucking roster to fill out. Right? They don't have a roster to fill out. If they fill out the roster, once they fill out the roster after the draft and after free agency, I'll give you a prediction, but I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't think that what my point is I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers not being on the team is going to make us a 3-win team, because we've won 7 games with Trevor Siemian and the corpse of Joe Flacco. You know what I mean?
I think folks significantly undervalue the performance. I understand that the performance of Aaron Rodgers last year was underwhelming for a lot of folks. It didn't hit expectations and people are emotional about it. I think we're undervaluing what Aaron did last year. And I'm not saying that he was incredible, but we got to stop with saying like he was the 32nd ranked court. Like, listen, I don't get any of this.
Hold on. To be fair, I wanted Rodgers back, but after being convinced, and I'm giving Dom credit here for that salary cap number, they couldn't do it.
When you add the numbers, Pete, here's the thing. When you add the salary numbers, I understand that argument. Yeah. But I'm not looking at the salary. I'm talking
But you
about the
have to,
play.
Mark. Right. I'm not devaluing the play. I don't know if we'll get the same comparison.
I know, but the
Justin
guys that
Fields, if he comes here, is not going to be as good as Aaron Rodgers.
no, clearly
No
not.
way.
Well, he'll be different,
But
but clearly not. I mean, it's.
But Mark, hopefully the coaching and there's accountability and people change and now
I like
people
that.
buy into the program, then
Yeah,
we're talking.
I like all
Let's
that,
get to
Pete.
the
But
hands.
yeah, we should do that. We got what Curtis has been waiting and Medic. Curtis.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry, Curtis.
Curtis is
Morning, guys.
probably by the meet. There he is. What's up?
How y'all doing? It's Friday,
Good,
gentlemen.
man.
Good.
You know,
Better than Rodgers.
I appreciate this conversation, but this is starting to get redundant. I want to thank every non-Jet fan that has common sense that has tried to speak to y'all. They're speaking of a place where they see it neutrally. Y'all just have to get over this A-Rod. We're only getting 3 wins. There's no team yet. All right. The most important dates are coming up this week. All right. We're going to know who we're going to sign. Because really, if y'all didn't know, 90% of free agent deals are made at the combine. Deals are going to be made. So let's see what we're going to do. Let's move on from we're going to win 3 wins. Let's see what the team is going to be constructed of before all you guys who have tons of
Well,
years of NFL
Curtis,
experience.
that's kind of just what I said. I'm not predicting anything right now because the team right now has no starters. We have no idea what the team as it stands on February 21st is going to look a lot different come May 1st. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So we need to start doing some more topics because this is getting tiring. Except for my non-Jets fans, because they got some common sense here, and I appreciate them.
Curtis, to be fair though, like I don't need another fan to tell me about Rodgers. Like I'm okay now. I don't care about if Tyrod Taylor starts, I'm okay with it. Like I think he's a good veteran. I think the Jets will bring in somebody to compete with him, and draft somebody. Who knows what they're going to do? But I'm not signing up for the 3-4 wins right now, and I can't predict neither. We don't even know who the schedule is yet. Like we know the games, but we don't know if they're going to play Atlanta and Carolina back to back. We don't know that.
Some other subjects about personnel. Like we haven't even had an interview with Hankstrom. We're all assuming of what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. And he's not going to get this quarterback because history shows this. We don't know what he's going to do. We don't.
I think it all plays into the money factor. We've been talking about that. I don't like we talked about Sam Darnold a minute ago, Mark, but $30 million I don't think is in the Jets' plans this year as a quarterback. I don't. I think they'll go the cheaper veteran route, like a Cousins, a Fields. Who knows? Jameis Winston, Derek Carr, if he gets, who knows?
Yep.
So that's my stance.
Sounds good, man. I'm going to drop down the listener.
All right.
I think they get Fields. I guess if he leaves Pittsburgh, I think they go.
I think Fields is going to have a few suitors. Medic, jump in after Jersey.
He's more inclined. At this point in his career, I saw someone talk about it, and they were saying that he's got to start, wherever he goes. Like, this is pretty much it for him.
Well,
Jers,
real quick. I think whoever signs him will tell him that he's, he has the chance to win the job. That I do think.
I mean, Fowler said that. I don't know if you saw that. He said that Fields is intrigued, obviously because of Wilson, and the idea of playing with Wilson again. And that might be something, if the money's there, he might be wanting to take the bet on that just because, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Medic, jump in.
Well, y'all going to be disappointed.
Morning, PD. Morning, everybody. Good morning, Mark, national spokesperson for Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
Mark, you better rebut to that.
My version of the 34 team is it's not so much 3 or 4 wins. It's more of a semi shakedown of the team and just kind of rebuilding. Hold on a second, I got a call. Hold on.
I will rebut while he's on the call.
Torres.
Well, listen, I got it after what Curtis said. I got to be careful to rebut because apparently folks doesn't like where I'm steering the conversation on this. Listen, I don't I'm having a conversation. The room is made up of people that come up and talk and share what they're thinking. The conversation is only as good as the people who come up and share new and fresh thoughts. If you got them, come on up here and share them. Say something we haven't heard before. Like, I'm all ears for it. And I like learning from folks that talk about all different aspects of the game. Like, come on up and do it. We're not going to tear you
Yeah.
apart, but to just say, oh, well, you know, our conversation's tired, that's the country. I'm sorry. Like,
Well, Mark,
make us less
I hear
tired.
what you're saying.
Come on up
Well,
and say
Mark,
something.
well, but if somebody wants to talk about Rodgers, I'm not going to shoot him down. He's an iconic player here, and it didn't work.
Well, and
Aaron
again,
Rodgers is going to be Mark. You don't think we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers a couple of years down? Somebody will bring him up. It's so we're
Yeah, that he
Jet
gave us 5
fans.
wins.
I
Yeah, but
understand he's
still, Brett Favre
polarizing,
has
but it's a
talked about
conversation
Medic.
about, hold on, it's a conversation about, I'm having a production specific conversation, and folks want to talk about, when I hear people talk about him, it's, oh, well, you could tell they're thinking about all the off the field stuff, or that you could tell that they're thinking about, the impact on the locker room and having a second leader in the room that maybe is not on the same page with Aaron Glenn. Like, and I hear all that, but what they all ignore is like, okay, so from a production standpoint, now you are worse at the quarterback position. That's literally all I'm saying. And we got a guy up here who said, "Oh, well, Mark is the leader of the Aaron Rodgers fan club." What? Like, I'm just
Well,
saying,
that
who
guy
is your
is off of
quarterback
mute, Mark.
that gives
So
you
talk to
28
him.
touchdowns and some on, like, where is the production coming from? What's the answer? And give me an answer. If the current team is constructed, got you 5 wins, and now you remove the quarterback that gave you 28 touchdowns, what are they winning this year? I'm
Well,
asking the
Mark, we
question. I
don't
don't know
even
the
know
the
the
answer.
difference
roster yet, though,
between
Mark.
But
your version of this conversation, Mark, and mine is this: I'm not looking for wins this year. I'm looking for a culture. I'm looking for this team to be going in the right direction. I'm looking to see moves that makes us better moving forward. Because next year, 2026, is the year that I want to see wins. That's the difference.
Well, the culture, I've heard the culture argument before, and culture's great. I love culture. I don't know how you build a culture when you're winning 3 games in New York. And you get off to like which, by the way, I'm personally not going to hold it against Aaron Glenn if they start to struggle out of the gate over the first like 6 to 8 games. I'm expecting it, fully expecting it. I know folks are like, oh, well, listen, man, Glenn's the man, like, he's good. Listen, I get all that, but you got folks they got to learn a new scheme. You really think there's not going to be some missed assignments while they're passing? Someone's on the blitz and now you got to pass coverage. You really think there's not going to be miscommunications and like they're going to look? I'm expecting them to look worse at the start.
Mark, every team has a miscommunication and breakdown. Didn't it happen in the Super Bowl?
But when you have a new
I mean, come
staff,
on.
it's more likely, is my point.
yeah,
And so that's
Jet,
where, I'm not. Look, building a culture while losing isn't easy, and in New York, it's worse. I understand we're in the honeymoon because it's whatever February, but Pete, we listen to the fans every day. You really think this
Mark, I
fan base and the
agree.
media is
Mark,
not going
if
to turn
they're
on this
winning,
team
Mark,
yeah.
quick?
If they don't announce that they're tearing the team down, Mark, the fans will not accept that at the games. I'm telling you now, they're going to boo the shit out of them. It's going to be an awful environment. I agree with you with that. That I'm not even arguing. So, good point.
Sorry, Pasha's had a hand up for a really long time.
I didn't even see your hand. Hi. Good morning.
Hey, I put in the comments or jumbotron about your O line. Your O line needs support. To be fair, did Aaron Rodgers have like a supportive O line? I'm a Browns girl. I didn't know, too well. I'm a Jets fan because I love the Cyclone, my Cyclone babies that you got on the team. I'm a Cyclone mom. So, so to be fair, did Aaron Rodgers have any?
Iowa State, right? Posh?
Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah, because my son went to Iowa State. Um,
Awesome.
so I really want Brees Hall and I really want Cyclone kids to thrive. So to be fair, did Aaron Rodgers have an O line that gave him time to cook? So anyway, I did post a good Iowa State draftee that's going to be at a combine. So I just want you guys, as you guys are thinking about the draft, to think about some good draft, how to build up the O line so that whatever quarterback you go use will have time to win. And I think Matthew Stafford will give you the best chance to win. I think he will be a good fit for you and for the Jets.
Wow, thank you for that. So the Jets O line from left to right last year was Tyron Smith, who was underwhelming,
And of course,
right? And then you had
drop me down, dear.
yeah, you're good. I mean, you're good up here. And then John Simpson, who folks were like, oh, this guy's just a guy. He's a scrub. He stinks. He actually had like a nice performance last year. Joe Tippmann in the middle, he's huge, Joe Tippmann, but his snaps, too many errant snaps for me. And so I think he needs to be a bit better coached. Then you have Elijah Vera Tucker, who I think he's the right guard, I don't think he would describe his year last year as one of his best years, but I think he's got potential. And then now the Jets have an obvious hole at right tackle. And the depth after the players I just named was really rough. Now, a good conversation around this is was it the players or was it the coaching? Because nobody thinks that Keith Carter, and I mean nobody, thinks that Keith Carter was a good O-line coach for the Jets. So when we started seeing developmental, like everyone thought, let's say Carter Warren coming out of Pitt, after his injury, okay, like maybe the Jets have like a guy. The guy looked terrible last year, and I was like, is he being coached at all? Like, what is going on with this Max Mitchell, who showed whatever, he's a little light, and like, with a decent O line, like he could fill, but he looked terrible. And then good players looked like Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm like, where is this guy? He looks terrible. I mean, we just saw a lot of missed assignments up front where it meant that you couldn't get great rushing lanes. Like these backs were getting hit in the backfield because guys were missing assignments, and you're like, they couldn't establish a run game.
They were a very good pass blocking offensive line. Their run schemes were bad.
They were very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good at pass pro.
They were good at pass pro, but their run schemes were bad.
And specifically when Fashanu was in, it was significantly better with him in at left tackle. So but from a run blocking perspective, which we all thought was going to be the engine of the football team, because I mean, listen, you held on to Jeremy Ruckert as a Y back, right? You got as an H back, and then you've got and then you draft 2 running backs, and you have a 41-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. Like, if I told you just those facts, you'd be like, okay, the Jets are going to be a running football team. They're going to have Aaron Rodgers be doing some play action, et cetera. They're not going to give him too much to do, and that's the formula for the Jets to win. Like, that's what we all thought. Literally, that's what a lot of people thought. Instead, the Jets had more dropbacks than like an insane amount of dropbacks for a quarterback of Aaron's age. So, what will this new offense look like, and will this line be ready to do it? I think they've got it'll be better coaching, to Dom's point from earlier, like better coaching up front for sure. I mean, it wouldn't have to be that much better to be better than Keith Carter. But the question is, personnel-wise up front, do you have the guy like this line? I wouldn't hold a candle to what Detroit's line is doing compared to the Jets line, right? It's a major part of how Detroit was so effective last year. So
we have 3 out of 5 Pro Bowlers up front there, though. I don't think that's like a fair comparison.
Well, but that, in my opinion, that just makes the point, T, which is that the Jets line can't hold a candle to it, and now you're going to have a scheme where a lot of the engine of that scheme is having an incredible line up front. And I would love for the Jets to build that sort of line, but now you've got to talk about, okay, well, who's best in the zone running game? Who's going to be great in a power running game? What kind of gamers are they going to be running up front for their line? What sort of protection are you going to get? And are the guys the right fit for it? It's questions. I have questions up front. There's 4 out of 5 guys are there's talent in the starters, but the second one of those guys gets hurt. Like, I can't ignore this. The last Buffalo game is a great example of this. The second that Fashanu, hurt and out, the line, it was way too much for that line to handle. It became a complete disaster, and the Bills were teeing off on Rodgers. Like, the game became a joke. And that's exactly when it became a joke, when the tackles went out, because they were in the game. In the first half, they were in it. It wasn't terrific, but they were in it.
Wait, Mark, the one where they went up 40-0?
Yeah. In the first half, the Jets were in the football game. The
Mark, they
problem was
didn't
that after
score,
the
though.
tackle got hurt, well, look, Pete,
I don't know. I understand that point, but I don't know, man. I don't think the Jets are going to be as bad as people think this year. That's all I'm saying.
I
We
agree.
can
well,
argue it all day.
how good do you think they're going to be?
How what?
How good do you think they're going to be?
Well, I'm not saying. I just think they're going to be a competitive, hungry team with a new coach, and they're
I
going to
think
build
so.
an identity.
I think so.
What was that, Posh?
I totally agree. I think it's going to be like, I forgot what it's called, the bump up effect. You know that effect when you get like a new coach. I forgot what that's called. I think they're really. I think he's going to hold them accountable, like you said, when he's old school. I think it's totally agree. Brees is sick and tired. He is hungry. It's going to be a totally new team. You guys are going to be pleasantly surprised. No, I think I see you guys a doorstep from the playoffs. I see you guys.
I mean, sign me up for that. If we have
I
that,
think
I
that's what I'm
mean,
saying. I think you guys need a plug and play quarterback, though. You guys need a plug and play quarterback. A quarterback you don't have to tell step by step. You guys cannot.
well, then that's not Justin Fields, Posh.
Yeah. You guys need you guys. That's what you guys can't go to the draft and get a rookie quarterback.
No, I think they will draft somebody this year.
Uh-huh.
But
and Tyrod is going to be the starter.
Yeah, that's just because you're biased because you want Fields back, Coach.
But even Mark saying it.
Yeah,
Mark
Coach,
saying it
real
too.
quick. Coach, real quick. I'm filling in for June today, so I'll gladly talk to you about Fields today.
You guys don't have enough money to get Miles, do you? I hate to say
No,
Miles,
no,
but you guys
no.
don't have enough money for
I don't. No. Well, I'm not
Miles
saying.
Garrett?
Well, the Jets. I'm sure a trade people could work. They're not getting Miles Garrett though.
Yeah, Miles Garrett's going to a contender.
Mark,
Like
they
he's
don't
at
have
that
to
stage of his
trade him
career
though,
where he
Mark.
wants a ring, right?
Mark,
Oh,
but
okay, good.
he asked for a trade. They don't have to trade him. Hassan Reddick asked for a trade. Did the Jets trade him? No. Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. Did they trade him?
If you're in the Browns situation and you don't have an answer at quarterback really, and you're trying to figure out, like, wouldn't you want to, like, I think would be a smart move for them to part ways with Miles Garrett and like rebuild. Like that makes sense from their perspective, right?
Trade him. They're refusing to trade him. That's the latest news in Cleveland here. Is they're refusing to trade him. Yep. They're refusing to trade him. And he wants out.
Yeah, you can get a lot from Miles. I mean, that's a guy, and he's excellent, but it's about stages. Like folks are saying, okay, well, Jet fans are saying, okay, we'll flip Quinning because you're going to get some stuff. Like I understand thinking about it that way, but I don't know, man. With Miles Garrett, I feel like you can get a haul.
Yeah, Miles Garrett has way more value than Quinnen Williams too.
Yeah,
to be fair.
Yeah. So I think you could really, like, the Browns could really set them up for success if they did that. But again, that's a long-term play for sure because you get weaker the second Miles is no longer a Brown.
What's up, Paul? Yo, Bears fan, what up? Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Petey.
We hear you.
Yep.
Mark, you're saying Cleveland should rebuild and the Jets should retool?
But Mark,
I'm not saying that's that's not a rebuild move, but if you get all those picks for Miles Garrett, and then again, do you really want to do that in a draft class that's not like in this year's draft? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to see the whole.
Well, apparently this draft class has a lot of good edge rushers.
Mark, you can literally get your Miles Garrett replacement at 2.
Yeah, so if they feel they can pick him up, then they'll definitely do that.
That's
okay. Well, then maybe that's the move.
Have y'all appointed an OC already?
Yeah, the Detroit coach.
He was the pass game coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not
Tanner
replacing
Engstrom
Miles Garrett with a player in a draft. That dude's like generational. You're not replacing Miles Garrett.
Yeah. Well,
No one said anything about
Carter,
replacing, but if you can get the same amount or at least close to the same amount of production out of a pick that's possibly, a high draft pick as far as that position and a player that looks to be a good player, then a team who's not
correct.
so much rebuilding but trying to save some money, get some more draft picks to fix what they need to fix. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I do think
No, I
that
totally get it.
Cleveland will take Carter if they trade Garrett.
I get it, but let's not say Abdul Carter's going to get 17 to 20
No,
sacks.
I'm not
That's
saying
not.
that at all.
I'm not
No,
saying
not
that
his
at
first year,
all.
but who knows what he could be if he's, if they say who he is. You know what I'm saying? No one expects that their first season.
Agree.
Well, I don't know the Browns roster as well as Browns fans do, so I don't know what holes they're trying to fill. But if it lets you reset on money and you get a new contract, and if the
Mark,
guy's
they'll
as
get
good as people think he is,
they'll get multiple picks, and I think they can probably net at least 2 first-rounders for Garrett. He's that good. He's a game wrecker, Mark. If he goes to the Bills, I don't think he will, but if he does,
yeah, if he goes there, forget it.
look out. Mark, do you have any radio breaks?
Nah, I won't do that today. But
isn't that a further evidence? A team like Cleveland that's farther along than us is willing to move. Well, I guess they're not willing, but let's say they are willing to move their best player, and we don't have anyone on our roster near Myles Garrett. Not a player.
But how are they farther better than us, Buckeye? They have the second pick in the draft. They were awful this year.
And the year before?
The defense played excellent, honestly.
Yeah, they made the playoffs, right?
With 11 wins, Petey.
Yeah.
When's the last time we had 11 wins?
2010.
And they have a
so what's
two-time
your
coach of
point?
the year. They have a two-time coach of the year, do we?
No. Hell no.
That's why coaching
They're
matters.
farther along. They're farther along.
So I got an intriguing idea, right? So y'all got the OC y'all got the quarterback, the pass game coordinator from Detroit. How would y'all feel if y'all could send Detroit maybe a third or a fourth for Hendon Hooker? Would that be something that might make sense?
Wait for whom?
Hendon Hooker?
Oh man.
Why are we
All right, you
trading for a
guys.
guy that's a third-string quarterback that they couldn't wait to go get Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, I could see like a sixth or a seventh.
No, it's a
Yeah.
seventh rounder for him.
Yeah.
I think
He's not
Hooker's cooked.
They took him in the second round.
I don't care where they took him. He's a third-string quarterback. It's a seventh-round pick, sixth-round pick. Like Hendon Hooker, this whole thing of third-round picks is crazy. And
I mean,
he's
and I mean, we haven't seen what he did. All he really did doing is just stashing him, honestly, at this point. At
I'd
some
rather
point,
have
they
Justin
moved
Fields.
off.
Go get Joe Milton.
Nigga,
I
I'm not
mean,
giving
Why
them Joe
why
Milton,
would the
coach.
Patriots though trade him though?
Unless them
Why?
niggas are giving me a second round pick, coach. I'm not doing that.
for Joe Milton?
Yeah, I'm not helping out my
this is
division
comical,
rival.
man.
Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing? They gotta
yeah.
pay up. That's
Second
what I'm
round
saying.
pick
If
for
Joe
Milton.
Milton's worth a second round, then Sauce is a 4 first
Oh no,
rounders.
Buck. I don't
Exactly.
believe he's worth that. But to you guys, I'm not trading him within the division unless I'm gonna get significant compensation. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But that's
Anywhere
crazy.
else, I'd be fine with a fourth round pick, bro. But not within the division.
Yeah, we brought up the word culture before, and I see F and Jim down there.
Hey, but didn't hold
Jim,
on?
you love the culture.
Didn't the Redskins? I mean Redskins. Didn't the Commanders trade Jahan Dotson to the Eagles for a
Yeah,
fourth or a fifth?
that was
Something
for a
crazy.
third.
Yeah, but
And you talking about a second?
yeah, but Jahan Dotson really, what did he do with the Commanders? He fell out of favor, and they got what they can. They got what they could from him.
And also, we're talking about the most premium position in football. Like,
Yep. Mark, are you
I think
here?
it's a none. Yeah, I'm here. The Jets are in it's a weird spot because you've got brand new front office. Fans are telling me, okay, well, they're going to get a grace period for the first year. I'm suspicious of that because I know how quickly the fan base can turn on a football team, regardless of what they say now in February. Their answer at quarterback right now is Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis, who really hasn't taken a snap. Like, I don't know what he is. And even if he were fully healthy, I mean, we had folks who were competent him to be he's going to be a quality backup in the league, like not starter quality. So I don't know. I really don't know what the quarterback room is.
Hey, Mark, I love how
And
people say someone's going to be something without even taking a snap on the field. That take is just ridiculous. I'm sorry.
But
I'm not
let's be
saying he's going to
honest.
be Joe Brady or he's going to be, the quarterback of gods, but give this kid a break. He didn't even take a snap yet. Like, people need to
But let's be honest.
Manic, what I'm saying is that the grade is incomplete. We don't know what he is.
I know, but people are
It's
saying that
also
he's not
not
going to be anything
Muji's
but a third
pick.
stringer. Like, come on.
It's
That's
not
just
Muji's pick. He's not keeping him, bro. It's not his pick. He's not keeping that guy.
Well, that's a separate and important point, which is that folks he's drafted by a GM that's no longer has a job, so they're not wedded to him. They're going to look at. What's 8% value? There's nothing. We don't know what in the world he is.
Let him pass the physical.
Well,
He's got to pass the physical.
There's no limit to how many people you could bring into training camp, correct? So, you're going to bring in everybody you can. They're going to compete.
Yeah, you can have 4 or 5 guys. You can have 90 people in training
you
camp.
bring in
That's the
everybody
point,
you
man.
can. You bring in everybody you can. My theory is you bring in everybody you can, and you let them fight for their position. Let them fight for their jobs. And if you don't make it,
But
you get
Travis
cut.
has to pass a physical, bro.
Well,
If he
yeah, of
can't pass
course,
a physical before the season, he has to be cut.
Well, last year he was never going to see the field. That was stated well before the season started because of his injury in college. So, he had a whole year to heal up and get back on track, and hopefully this year we'll see what he can do. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. Who knows? I'm all
the reason
about
why we got to
evaluating
talk
based
about
on what I
Jordan
see,
Travis,
not just talk.
I get that, Medic, but the reason why even have to talk about Jordan Travis is because the only other guy that's there is Tyrod Taylor at this point. And if you look at the current free agent, pool of quarterbacks that are available, and it's you're looking at Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rule out Sam Darnold.
Mark,
who frankly, if he weren't a former Jet, I think that Sam Darnold would be high on the.
Mark,
People would be like, "Oh man, can they get him?"
I agree on that.
Mark, you forgot the immortal Adrian Martinez. The fuck's
Oh,
wrong
that's
with
right.
you?
I know he flashed the preseason superstar. Yeah.
But to think that we're only going to go into training camp with 2 quarterbacks is ridiculous. We're obviously going to bring in more bodies. That's with the draft, free agency. So this kind of conversation is kind of mute in my eyes as far as what we have.
Well, I get
We
all
don't even
that,
know
but
what
we're
we have
talking
yet.
about quality. But the
There is no
conversation is
quality
about
out there, Mark.
quality at
There's
that
no
position.
quality out there. There's nothing out there, and I've said that before. No team has anybody who's going to replace what Aaron Rodgers did for us, numbers wise. So it's no point even fighting over or talking about it in the sense that there's nothing out there. No team has a savior that we're going to bring in.
This is why I'm saying that I think this team is looking like the way it's set up right now. This team is looking like a 3 to 4 win team entering the league here, and then folks are mad about me saying that because they don't want to watch losing football or whatever. They think I'm crazy, but I'm sorry that at the quarterback position, it's bleak right now.
Yeah,
and
I
you've
agree.
got and you have a first year, a bunch of rookie front office.
Mark, with
Who's
Aaron, how
coming
many
in to
wins did you
install a
have them?
system.
With Aaron, how many wins did you project this year? So
With
3, 4 with
stability.
everyone else. What's with Aaron Rodgers? How many wins?
So let me ask you a question.
12.
Is it
No,
only Aaron?
don't do the spin around of
I
like
just
if we
answered
had
his question,
just yeah.
so he
You
can't
come
This
avoid
is
with a
it.
clean
context,
answer
and
of 3, 4 wins. Just give me the Aaron Rodgers one.
it's Buckeye. It's context, and it's important. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, do you think only Aaron Rodgers comes back?
You tell me, but don't tell me we're spending everything in
Okay,
free
then I
agency and
will.
going for it.
Because if Aaron Rodgers comes back,
But you want
Devontae Adams. Holy! If
And then
Aaron
we lose
Rodgers
Garrett
comes
Wilson.
back, Devontae Adams comes back.
And then we lose Garrett
Well,
Wilson.
we don't know.
And then you
There's a
have an
lot of
issue with Garrett
speculation out there
Wilson,
that
Mark.
Garrett Wilson was not happy with the whole Devontae Adams thing because he was being shut out, and Aaron Rodgers was force feeding Devontae Adams, and we all saw it every Sunday. Okay, and he was not happy with it, and they didn't want to lose their franchise. It's probably one of the other reasons why they let him go. They didn't want to lose their future player for our franchise, along with another wide receiver and a quarterback.
I understand that narrative, but the thing is, didn't Garrett have plenty of targets last year? Like
Up until
it's not like
Devontae came
he
in,
didn't get the
yes.
ball. He did not. Okay, let me ask you this: because again, the narratives, it's just like it drives me bananas.
You
With
saw
this
it on the
team,
field,
did
Mark.
Garrett Wilson? Hold on, did Garrett Wilson get the Elijah Moore treatment?
In what sense? What do you
where
mean?
he's
Being
running
ignored
fucking
completely?
orbit. Right, exactly. He was running orbit motions
No,
and
but
shit, and
Garrett,
basically
he's
got froze out of the offense.
But Garrett Wilson didn't act like Elijah Moore and throw a temper
really.
tantrum.
But you also saw on the
I
field when
know,
once
and he
Adams
didn't
got
curse
there
out the OC either.
how he was just constantly forcing the ball to Adams, regardless of his coverage. He threw him in double coverage. He didn't care. And you can't play like that. You have to take what you can get. If Garrett is open, you got to throw it to him, not just force it to fucking Adams. I'm sorry. That was wrong. And we probably would have won more games if
Yeah,
he not did that.
we watch different football games. I'll
I
leave it
watched
there.
I watched Aaron Rodgers feed Devontae every second he could. That's what I saw. And completely ignore tight ends on top of that until Tyrod came in and threw a fucking bunch of passes and a touchdown to my boy over there, Conklin. So, and you can say what you want about him. I like him.
Wait, Aaron Rodgers didn't ignore Tyler Conklin when Jeff
He didn't.
Ulbrich dropped the challenge flag.
No,
I'm
he didn't
being
throw to his tight ends at
sarcastic,
all.
Medic.
Hardly. Oh, okay.
Medic, I'm being sarcastic.
And then when he does
Didn't
throw to a tight end, he throws
what
to his feet. So I mean, you know,
what was the big game that Conklin did have? Was it against the Patriots that
it
he had
was.
almost 100 yards?
Yeah, I think it was the Patriots game. Yep. And last quarter, he was throwing him. He was feeding him constantly. He was open all the time. That's what you do. You hit the man who's open, and that's what he did. So I like Conklin. I hope he stays. I hope he's on the team. I hope he plays.
Well, they're gonna have to bring some. They're gonna have to fill holes. So, do the Jets bring him back and double dip because they're already paying him $6 million this year on dead money? So, just when I
I mean,
thought the conversation was gonna not be positive, here comes Hexakin.
here we go.
You, hey, Petey, can you please answer me? How is it that Garrett Wilson was ignored when he caught the most passes that he ever caught as a Jet? He had the most yards that he ever had as a Jet, and he had the most touchdowns that he ever had as a Jet. What are we talking about? He did not. He was not ignored. He
Talk to him,
wants to be.
Hexican.
He wants to be the only receiver to receive catches. Then that's stupid.
Talk to him,
That's just
Hexican.
stupid. So how was he ignored again?
I didn't say that.
Well, how many games did Devontae Adams play? 5, 6.
No, he came. I
Half the
think he
year.
played
Half the
10.
year. Half the year he had 800 yards
I think he
and
came
like
week
7 TDs
7.
as well.
What was the Halloween game? He came the week before that, the Pittsburgh game, correct?
Yeah, it was right before Pittsburgh because we all made fun of the whole situation that he's lost twice against Pittsburgh this year.
Clamp him up too.
So I mean, I'm not saying that the numbers
Just
weren't
jump
there for
in,
Garrett
Curtis.
Wilson, but at the same time, you could see the change of play when Adams got there. That's all I'm saying.
But if that's a problem, then that's always gonna be a problem because you're gonna need another guy to draw the coverage sometimes. Like sometimes you're gonna have that second guy to step up, and sometimes y'all might find like again y'all can find somebody in the third or fourth round who just boom and just be like, oh shit, we didn't expect him to be this good, and now he gonna have an attitude about it.
That's what I'm saying. But it's
That
okay, bro. He got a little diva in him. But that's okay. Terrell Owens had a diva in him. He wanted the ball every goddamn time. It's okay to be that competitive. I ain't even mad at that. But all this that he's so hurt about it that he's willing to leave somewhere else, like really? Like that doesn't make a lot of sense to me because are you trying to win a championship or are you just trying to be I understand you want to be the best and the greatest ever, but I'm saying just work at it.
But
Just
Hexican,
keep working it.
it
And
was
and again, he had the most yards, the most completions, the most yards, and the most TDs as a New York Jet with Rodgers at the.
I get it, but there's been reports out there that him and Rodgers did not get along. So I mean, take it for what you want.
Who did Terrell Owens get along with? Who did crazy ass Brown get along? Antonio Brown get along with? I ain't even gonna call him crazy because I don't think he is. You know what I'm saying? Like having a little diva in you, I don't care about that, bro. Because you want to be the best. That's great. Just keep trying to be the best, and yeah, holler at everybody and make everybody better. Because competition breeds excellence. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, let him be the diva that he wants. Let him
Yeah,
want the ball every
but do you
single
do you,
time. But
do
it
you
doesn't
think
mean
as
that
a
he's
human being, if you don't like someone, you're not going to want to do what you should probably do? That's human nature. If you don't like someone, you're not going to give them the ball. I mean, think of us as kids in the playground. If you had a
I
kid on your
don't
team
think.
you didn't like, you
Yeah,
wouldn't do it. So you got to
I
remember,
don't
we are
think
human.
Rogers didn't.
yeah.
Medic.
But again, how,
Yeah.
how how did he have the most catches that he's ever had as a Jet if he was ignored? He
I know.
was
Gentlemen,
not
can I
ignored.
interrupt?
Those are the facts. It's
Can I
just
interrupt real
Sure.
quick? Because I need to, and I'm not trying to insult anybody. There's one thing in football that never lies, so that's the motherfucking tape. You watch the tape, there is 70% of the time Garrett's wide open, and A-Rod is not looking at him. He's not reading the field. That's why he's pissed off. Don't give me that target numbers because I can show you on tape 10 games where there was maybe 12 touchdowns left on the board because Aaron Rodgers don't want to throw it to Garrett Wilson. Let's stop being stupid. Get out of emotions about A-Rod. The dude was a diva, and he didn't like Garrett. It was shown on the tape.
Thank you.
I mean that
It
that
gave him the
that might
most yards
that
that he's ever had. Gave him the most
By
touchdowns.
one
And gave him the most
yard.
catches. Wow, you know what? Hate me some more. Hate me some more
but
because he's gonna get Garrett paid.
Okay.
Hate me
but
some more. You know
Well,
what I mean? Like that.
Garrett
That
was going to
don't
get
even.
paid anyway without Rogers. Hexagon, come on.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm not. See, I'm not. My point is simple. My point is this. It's okay to have a diva on your team, but all this that he hated him so much that he's just gonna run away, or that's the reason that we got rid of Rodgers is because we might lose Wilson, and I don't believe none of that hype. I don't believe none of that hype because
Okay.
he got the most catches that he's ever had as a Jet.
Statistics aren't everything.
June, good
Sorry.
morning.
Good morning, brothers.
Finally, the
Good
voice of
morning.
reason. Morning, June.
Good morning, man. What's going
What's
on,
going
brother?
on, buddy?
Wow,
Not
the
much.
voice of reason. That's a shot at me and Mark.
I know, man. Got the insults flying this morning.
Medic,
Oh,
you
Hey,
Juju.
coming
June,
with
June, we
violence.
just figured out. We just figured out that what the 34 means. Y'all want 2034 to be the year, right? 2034. Let's go, baby.
Oh
Oh, that's a good
shit,
Let's
one.
go.
yo,
That's
2034.
pretty funny.
what did I just walk into? Jesus Christ! Hey, fellas, let's try it again. Hey, fellas, how you doing?
June, good
Shit.
You
morning.
missed a whole bunch,
Good
June.
June, what's
morning.
that, June?
Yeah. What up, Kurt? What's up, Medic? What's going on? Where Buckeye at?
What's up, man? What's up?
Buck, where
June,
you
I'm
at?
good.
I'm
Nah,
here.
hell
That's
with y'all. I take
incredible.
that back. I take that back.
June, I'm good. I said good
That
Ah,
morning.
2034 Lombardi's going to hit
man.
different. That's incredible.
Marcus,
That's
yeah, Mark, yeah.
You and you still laughing, huh?
it's good. That was really funny.
Fucking guy, boy, I tell you. So, so, what are we? Are we? Is Hex acting blind to the fact that Rogers didn't want to throw my man the ball? Is that what it is?
so I just have
He,
one question about the scenario though. So with the whole Garrett Wilson is Devontae Adams getting a treatment because he felt that Rogers was targeting him and he's like, okay, I don't want this dude back either. Like I feel like if you got problems with Rodgers, let it be Rodgers. Like Adams can help the team get better.
Mm.
If you bring Adams and you got Wilson, shit, all you need to find is a motherfucking quarterback. But now you got to create it. Now you got another hole because you got to find somebody to put on the other side.
right, but Hull, to be fair, I mean,
Mhm.
Devontae Adams' cap number this year is 38 million.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
So
never
you,
mind. That's crazy.
right,
Yeah, you got.
yeah.
Yeah, he got to go. I
He
understand.
changed.
Never mind. Yeah,
He
yeah, he
changed
got
the
to go.
So
tone
God
quick.
damn.
that's my only argument there. Like, the Jets get rid of him, they could get 3 players on the roster for that money.
Yeah,
And
I actually
I
can.
wanted Devontae back. I wish the Jets could, do something and bring him back, but it's just not going to work.
Plus, Pete, isn't this a decent wide receiver draft?
Mm-mm,
Like, so
mm-mm,
the Jets could probably get
mm-mm,
something.
mm-mm.
No, it's not, Jim.
No, it's not like last year. Last year was a year. If you wanted a wide receiver, last year was a year to get a grab him. That's why I understand you take two running backs. Why don't you grab two wide receivers?
Yeah.
I think the
In
Jets will sign
hindsight, that's
somebody or
yeah.
do like a trade or something. That's where I could see the Jets getting creative in a trade
Mm-mm.
somewhere.
No, the Jets will end up drafting a wide receiver. You don't have you. Wait, if I'm not mistaken, what's the dude name? Tim Patrick from Detroit. Okay, you get him, but he's not. They're gonna have to draft another wide receiver. They
Wasn't he
have
on
to.
Denver?
He went to
Um,
Detroit as well too. He played with Detroit a little bit last year.
Okay.
Wait, let me ask you a question then. So is Malachi Corley a bust?
We don't know yet, Mark. He's an incomplete.
He's a definitely question mark. You don't know.
I'm just asking the question because now with Adams gone, Lazard gone, and now Garrett's clearly the one, right? And they have Malachi Corley in bubble wrap. I don't know, he's in store. Like what? And it's another West Coast scheme coming in, right? So what, what is it really just Garrett? Like, is that really what they have? I think you're right, June. I think they're going to have to draft somebody.
You have to. You got you. Plus, you got to draft a tight end. You have to do it. Like like I said, like I keep saying, it's a lot of holes and not enough draft picks and not really enough money. There's no safeties that's signed on this team right now. So you need not only do you need two starters, you need the two. You need the two reserves after them. You got what, one tight end that's still probably signed in the team, so you need at least two more. So that's him, and now you need three more at least.
Yeah, but we have money, so that's not the issue.
No,
in my opinion.
No. Hear what I'm saying though. We have money, but not enough money to get starters and depth. Is what I'm saying. There's gonna be at least 5 to 6 undrafted free agents on this team. When you gonna be able to do it?
Well, CB, you got a hand up. Good morning.
Good morning. I came up to tell you one, June's wrong, which is not unusual. It's a deep wide receiver draft. It's not as top heavy as it normally is. So that's one. Two, you brought up Corley, Mark. Engstrom's coming from one of the most creative offenses in the entire league. I would imagine whether it be Corley or someone else, he'll be able to add a vertical and horizontal element to this offense. Utilizing a guy who can use jet motions, give him some screens, things like that. Again, whether that's Corley or somebody else, that's a whole different thing. And again, you don't need to find a whole bunch of high-end starters or pay a bunch of money for high-end starters because, like June did say, and he was correct on this point, there's a lot of holes on this roster. You need to find guys who can just contribute, guys who can do the little things, catch the ball when it's actually thrown to them, unlike a Jeremy Ruckert. Guys who can separate. You may want to consider bringing Conklin back if it's at the right price. But this is a deep wide receiver draft. You can double up at some point in the middle to late rounds and find guys who maybe aren't exactly, dynamic one-on-one winners, but guys who can go out and fill a role, guys who can be a big body, guys who can play in the slot, guys who can move around a little bit. So there is talent to be found. You just have to be good at drafting, which the Jets haven't been the last decade or so.
Okay. Everybody here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, Pete. It sounds like, they're going to get, and listen, Corley's got some talent and underutilized last year. I think when you're looking at a West Coast scheme and running routes and being like, I wonder if they're going to be as specific as we saw them operate in the West Coast scheme in years past, where it's like, okay, well, you need to know every position on the field and be able to run full route trees in order to get snaps. Will that change with the new regime coming in, or is it going to be okay? Well, we're going to scheme shit up specifically for Corley to be on the field to be effective. They may not have a choice because it's not like the Jets are going to be buyers at in free agency at wide receiver. Maybe Tim Patrick, you know what I mean? But who else really at the wide receiver position are they going to get in free agency? And then you're going to be expecting a rookie to step in and find a way to be effective, and we don't know who's throwing them the ball. So, I don't know, man. Jim, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Good morning, everybody.
The fucking guy. What's up, brother?
What's up, motherfucker? Petey, let me be the first to wish you happy birthday on your next one.
Oh shit!
It's coming up. June. Please stop mentioning fucking Tim Patrick because literally, I just got gas. The guy's name was Tim. It's a 70% chance it was Tim Patrick pumping my gas. Please stop. So one guy I think is a free agent from the Commanders is that kid Zach Zacchaeus. I would like him as a free agent. You can draft one. Don't mind that. Hexkin, I know you bring up Garrett Wilson and the stats. He got the most yards as a Jet and all this stuff, but that's not what Garrett Wilson or what anybody wants. Like the team stat is bullshit. They want to be league stat, like number one in the league. Like being number one on the Jets is not that impressive. I don't think leading in catches and yards for the Jets team. I don't think they give a shit about that. It's nice, but that's not what Rodgers accomplishing that for Garrett Wilson is not some great friggin' feat. The next guy that throws for 4,000 yards is going to be the next guy since Joe Namath. It's not. That's how pathetic our quarterback play has been. That it hasn't happened in 50 years. So like just that stat wise is really meaningless. That he got a Jet team record. I don't. These guys don't give a shit about that. Unless you're beating a Jerry Rice. As that team, but not Al Toon or Wayne Corbett or Keyshawn Johnson. That you top those guys really isn't any fucking great feat. But yeah, let's stop the Tim Patrick talk. Stop that right now. And yeah, I can't talk long. I just want to throw that in there.
Wow, Jim, so you're out on Tim Patrick. You don't think that they'd get? I mean, it's a guy Muji's familiar with, Glenn is familiar with.
Nope.
No, you're done. He's out.
Nope. Out.
Okay.
He was never in. Out.
All right.
You gotta be in to be out.
Jim, you sound a little like June, where he's going to be throwing to the equipment manager after Garrett Wilson and hoping that equipment manager, like in a mesh concept, can find a way to get open. I'm like,
Mark, I gave you a name in free agency. I like the kid Zacchaeus. I think I didn't listen. If the equipment manager runs a good 40, and has good hands,
if he has a great combine,
yeah. Listen. And let's stop with the Tyler Conklin stuff. We've been there, done that. We can stop with him too. Yeah, we can move on. We can move on. But
you know what? Let me be rosy a little bit for the Jets because I've been kind of with this 3 to 4 win stuff. I've been a little down on it with the team. Look, you got a GM who the strength of what he says is his strength. Like he's a player, he's a talent evaluator, right? That's the strong part of what Muji, like his track record, right? Same thing with Glenn, who came up as a scout and did, Parcells encouraged him to come up so player and talent evaluation is going to be at a premium for both these guys. Like they should be really good at it. And now you got a draft class, which folks are saying, okay, well, there are question marks in different spots. It's a weird draft and all that. So let's see if these guys can shine. I know it's difficult because there's a lot of new faces in there. I don't know if they've changed a lot of the scouts, like actually on the ground at the same time, but it's really going to test. It's going to put to the test these guys are player talent evaluators. It's going to really test that out this year. And who did they decide to keep? Like, are they going to have June's lens and say, well, actually, none of these guys deserve to be Jets? I have yet to hear June say this guy absolutely deserves to be a Jet.
Because that's
who's your favorite Jet, June? Let me ask you that question.
That's a fair statement right there, and I really can't say nothing about that. But I don't think there's a lot of people that really do deserve to be there, man. Honestly, who's my favorite Jet as of right now? Jermaine Johnson. I don't know if you ever noticed or not, but this whole time I've been on this trade thing, you never heard me say not one time that I would trade Jermaine Johnson.
Wait, but is that because of a social media post
No, 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 no,
and
no,
the
no,
fact that
no,
he didn't
no,
play
no,
at all
no, no,
last
no,
year,
no,
so
no,
he
no,
didn't have a
no, no,
chance to
no,
look
no.
bad?
Mark, think what I'm saying. During this whole season, you never heard me mention Jermaine John. In fact, I kept saying he's the only one who I see as a leader, and then he drops that statement last week.
But you should have mentioned Jermaine Johnson.
No,
June, he's an older. I mean, I'm not going to say he's older, like going to be out of the league, but they drafted him as an older player. All right, and listen, I like Jermaine Johnson. The legit three down edge is how he plays. That's
yes.
what his tape shows. But he's also a guy coming off an Achilles
Well,
injury,
well, well, well,
and who knows what kind of burst in power he's going to be able to show coming off an injury like that. It's an
once again,
unknown.
you can't. Even if you thought about trading him, you can't do it until you see what he is right now. But I need him and his type of leadership in the locker room, and he proved it.
Wait, so is it that? Wait, so is it that you want to keep him, or is it that you can't trade him because there's no value? Because those are two different things.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. I don't want to trade him, and I have to see what he is. Because if he's not that, then I mean, what you want me to say? I mean, I, I,
Do you have
I
any other players you want to keep outside of a guy who didn't play at all last year, just coming off a serious injury?
oh, I like Olu.
Well, they just drafted Olu, and Pete won't. Pete will tell you he loves the deal. The fact that they got potentially a franchise left tackle,
Yeah,
and he's going to be around, for a long time. And listen, if there's upside with Olu, I like the fact that he's going to get real coaching on the offense. Like I want to see this O line coach work with him and see if Olu can improve in the run game and be a complete left tackle. That'd be fantastic because he was great last year
I like
when healthy.
I like Titman. I like Simpson. Like they're players that I like. It's just the.
So would you move AVT because you conspicuously left him out?
Who?
Elijah Vera Tucker.
He's a question mark to me, man. He is. Stand in the field is very important too.
Well, do you feel like you got a little bit of the Becton situation, which is got hurt, and then they started moving him around, and then
No.
don't you think that contributed to?
No.
I mean, he wasn't hurt in college really at all. It's really getting to being a Jet, and then all of a sudden they start moving him around, and he's a company man. He was a good soldier,
He's a
and
very
he paid the price.
he's a very good dude. I wouldn't say it's the Becton thing because the Becton thing had more to do with him not being in shape than anything. And I don't think AVT isn't in shape. It's just like you said, he was doing a lot of different things.
Well,
Becton,
people bring up the staying in shape for Becton, but I saw his first year. He looked plenty in shape, even out of shape. He looked plenty in shape to me. Carrying his weight, he was taught. It wasn't his problem that he got knocked off the field in his first year.
no, it wasn't. That was Van Rotten. I remember it.
I'm just saying, I feel like that's the part of the Becton. And look, and also the mental makeup. I like AVT's mental makeup on this. We haven't heard him. They've done a lot of losing
Yeah, you
and
haven't.
had a lot
He
of
hasn't said
problems up
one thing.
front.
You're right. He hasn't said any one thing negative at all. Eh,
Bro, that
Yeah.
to me is leadership,
Yes,
bro. We
yes,
need players like
yes,
that.
yes,
We
yes,
need more players like that. We need players that are gonna whatever the team needs. I'm gonna jump in.
yeah,
I'm gonna try to help out. I ain't gonna bitch and moan. You pay me millions of dollars to play a game, and he's tough. He keeps coming back. He
yes,
gets hurt, but he comes back.
yes. But
We need to keep players like
but
that.
how much? But how much do you pay him? That's the question.
Well, then they extended him,
Yeah, right.
right? So they
But now, I mean, are you going to extend him during this year? Like, are you going to give him this second contract?
Well, can't you buy low on AVT based off of last year? Because they're going to look at the tape
Yeah,
and say this looks like a down year for the player, but we see some potential, etc. But
mm,
let's get you on a decent deal. Because I listen, man, don't you think he's going to be better this upcoming year with
of course, this is a
much
contract
better
year.
coaching?
Plus,
Well, it's also much better O-line coaching. Oh, that's a good point too. It's contract
it's
year.
contract year. Of course, you're gonna see the best AVT you've ever seen in your life. It's sad, but that's just the way these players play. When his contract, they do the bet. Man, he might be a Pro Bowler. Now, at the same time, you want to buy low, but you know what his argument is? I've done everything you guys asked me. Everything. Didn't complain.
Well, not that they've asked, because again, it's brand new. To one of Pete's points before, it's a whole new front office.
It's a whole new front office, but I've done everything that this organization has asked me to do. I was drafted.
It's an interesting argument. Should they extend AVT?
Yeah, I was drafted as a left guard. I went to right tackle, then came to left tackle. Now I'm playing a right guard. I've played everything but center on this team, and haven't complained.
Yep. With suspect coaching.
Yeah.
And questions at quarterback for a lot of his career being a Jet.
Yep. So,
I mean, but is he a fit? I mean, how would you compare? Who's Detroit's right guard? You guys know?
That's the best part about it. You don't know his left. You don't know who that right guard is because they never mentioned his name. That line is incredible.
Listen, June. I'm the first to tell you I don't know Detroit's roster inside and out.
I think it's Kevin
maybe the guy's
Seiler
good
or something like that.
Okay,
Maybe
Kevin. Check.
Yeah, it might be Seiler or something like that. It might be.
Right guard.
And at the same time, you got to think also, Aaron, Glenn, and Muji, they have no ties to him.
Yeah, whoever said Kevin Zeitler, you're 100% right. Let's see, he had a hamstring. And then they brought in rookie Christian Mahogany, was there later on in the season. They might move. I mean,
Now look, what you need to do is look at Detroit's linemen, offensive linemen who are free agents this year.
Wait a second. Could you trade AVT?
You could flip them.
Maybe that's the. But if you can get, so I'm looking at. Here's why, because I'm looking at Zeitler, right? The vet. You're going to have to bring in players from outside the team that are familiar with everything going on, especially if you're going to try and make a culture shift. And if you listen to Aaron Glenn talk from the podium, he says, "Listen, culture is about players. If you get the right people in the building, and that starts with the coaches, that's how you change culture. It's not just words from the podium. By the way, those are his words, not mine, right? So they're going to be lifting players off of the Broncos for potentially, but I would think Detroit for sure, like folks that understand and are bought in and the rest of it. I'm looking at Zeitler is the vet for Detroit, right? At right guard, he got a hamstring, so that meant that he was out for later in the season and in the divisional round. They drafted a rookie to fill, Christian Mahogany. He stepped in and actually did well. They might roll with Mahogany. Maybe you can get Zeitler, who understands what's going on, and then flip AVT.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely going to get someone off that team, as far as a reserve lineman, whatever, so that they can bring that. They want to bring their people into the locker room. Of course, they want to do that. And I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to argue with CB, but this wide receiver draft is not deep as last year. Like I said before, it's not a deep and thanks to Dom, he said it doesn't have the juice and the talent as it did last year, which it doesn't. So this is not a deep wide receiver draft. It's a deep tight end draft, deep running back draft, deep interior line, defensive lineman draft, but it's not a deep wide receiver draft.
That's why I think we should go out free agency, try to find somebody to replace Devontae. Not that he really did too much for us, and then just draft what else we need. Tight ends, D-line.
Wow. PD just texted. He said he has to end the space.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks everybody for coming in. Again, we're less than a week away from the combine at this point.
Can't wait.
Right.
Yay.
So I think
can't
You know
wait.
what I can't wait for, June? Are pro day throws that make teams go goo goo gaga over quarterback prospects
Oh
that they
God,
fly
please
up the
don't.
board,
Hey, Medic,
right?
you know what's gonna happen though, Medic. Like after draft day, after combine, a few quarterbacks are not even gonna participate in the combine. They're just gonna hold their draft days, and then you're gonna have quarterbacks that
Sanders,
shoot up right. He may
Ward.
not.
Yep.
Yep. And then so now that's gonna push at least four quarterbacks to the top into the first round draft. I guarantee you.
I mean, that could be good for us. This way, we maybe get somebody we actually want. But who knows?
Exactly.
Either
Yeah,
way.
because if folks are willing to jump up to 3 through 6,
I think
it helps the Jets.
if we
Yeah.
if we stay at 7, my thing if we stay at 7, then you take Tat if he's available. Because this wide receiver draft isn't stacked like that. At least you're getting insurance in case you have to move on from Garrett Wilson.
Pete, you said something. Okay, June, you said something that at least partially I agreed with, and then you went right off the rails at the end of it, which is so. Looking at Muji's past draft classes, because I looked at 4 years of what like that Broncos front office drafted. Um, they're not great at drafting wide receivers, is what the Broncos were like. That was a struggle for them. Ted McMillan, I feel like, and whatever it's recorded, I may get crucified later on this, but I feel like he might be a can't miss guy.
Me too.
And I would be fine with them drafting a receiver that high, not just because they have a need, but what you said about the quality of the class and the fact that I would not trust this GM to make a wide receiver pick
In the later
after
rounds, right?
round.
Right.
Yeah,
So we agree.
look at
Unbelievable. I
that.
can't say that. I can't say this is
Let's close. It's
this shit is
special. Let's
crazy.
close
I
it there,
can't
right?
fucking believe this part. Yeah.
That's great.
Which is the only reason why I wouldn't take Mason Graham, because it is a deep. It's this draft is deep with interior defensive linemen. So if you can get a quality one in the later rounds, then why wouldn't you do it? And you just address the need that you have
And
right
they have
now.
a need
Plus,
there
Yo, can I ask you a
because
question, guys?
Williams definitely
With the
needs a running
defensive
mate.
line, do we have young people that could possibly come up
yeah,
like
but
like a Taylor the
Taylor,
third?
right?
What about Bruce Hector?
For sure.
You guys, what do you guys think about Bruce Hector? Every time I see that kid play, all I see him do is make plays. I just don't know if, like, can he make the plays against the top tier, offense? But every time he's in there, he
He's
makes
jet
plays.
good.
Taylor, every time he's in there, he makes plays. It seems like they should give these young cats a chance if that's the right that we're gonna go.
I think with White Cotton and with and Sala in, and I feel like if there was talent, like if there was skill to get out of what they had there, I think we would have seen it. And yeah, you're getting. I mean, now you're forced to say, okay, well, are Glenn Wilkes, is that combo better on defense and developing players than Sala Ulbrich and White Cotton, right? That's the conversation really, because you're like, can they get more out of Hector or more out of these guys? I think is it a push, or are they better? Or are they worse? Like I don't know if I can answer that one. On the offensive side of the ball, I feel much better about the O-line performance because again, I think you're gonna have a clear upgrade with the O-line coach, right? But on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know if that's true. That's also, by the way, why I'm bullish on the cornerback room. Like I know they took Stigers and GBC, and they've got some of these other guys that are out there. I happen to think that they're going to get a lot more out of the secondary because they're going to have
Better.
secondary specifically because they're going to have
Mm-hmm.
better coaching back there. Because I have to trust Glenn. I mean, that's who knows it. Who knows that position better than him on the
Exactly.
football
Yo,
team?
before we take off, June, how many wins do you anticipate the New York Football Jets in 2025? Even
Uh-oh.
though you say
I don't.
you're not going with wins, you really don't care about wins. But
No.
if there was a gun to your head, how many wins would the 2025 New York Jets have this year?
I'll just be dead because I can't answer that. I really I
No,
feel
no, okay, with the team that you want, with the team,
No, he put a
I'm gonna
picture
go
up.
back to the conversation we kind
Hex,
of
you can
had
see it.
yesterday with the team
don't
that
listen
you
to
want,
fucking Marcus.
with Fields and the top receiver at number 7, and then whatever plays that you want. After that, how many wins do the New York Jets get with this new coaching staff as well?
The re
With everything that you want, June.
Look, I'm gonna say it again. Only because we have more than more than half of the roster is free agents. I can't answer that question. I don't. It all depends. Like I said, there's going to be quite a few undrafted free agents on this team. You have to fill out the roster. It's 53.
I'll answer for June. 3 to 4 wins.
He's so
Okay,
full of
thank you
shit. See what
everyone
I'm
for being
saying?
in today and appreciate.
I
How about
swear.
7? Add it up.
2034, baby. Yo,
Thanks
have a
everyone
great
for
one,
being
guys. Yo, enjoy
in.
your weekend.
Yeah,
Take it easy, guys.
you too.
What up, Medic? Hey, brother, you have a good week.